So as we're young, the beautiful thing about children is they're getting programmed, and you watch children play and they're imaginative, they're creative, and it's real to them. And as we go through, we get programmed, and as our subconscious mind works, it doesn't know the difference between real or imagined. You can watch a movie and it's real, and it's one of the ways we store memory, right? We've got real memory, vicarious, and genetic memory. Well, even as kids, right, we have an imagination and they believe things to be true. As we grow up, think about the things that are real to you. I could tell you your shirt's red, and if I'm programmed that way and I've been told it's red my whole life, guess what I'm going to view it as red. So these things we get told, right, they become our reality and they're real to us. And if we don't have a reference point, we don't see it, we're programmed by our environment, right, and our perception of it. So imagining things, you can bring them into reality, right? Subconscious doesn't know real from imagined. So if I'm placing these events on my timeline and I'm walking it or doing the guided imagery, we're a whole system and it all corresponds. And if you add belief into it and believe you can do that and imagine you can do that, your subconscious isn't doing anything. It's real in your subconscious. It goes in as literal information. You're literally doing that as you do these techniques and place things out on the ground. You're literally placing that out on the ground. You're walking to it. You're putting it into your future, and it is real in your subconscious, right? It's our conscious minds that are perceiving it and doubting it. Subconscious isn't doing that. And as you repeat these things over and over, it becomes real, and then you actually manifest it. Our thoughts are more powerful than Wi-Fi.
Right.
And think about what's governing our self-talk and not believing in imagination. It's our uncertainty, our doubt, our limiting beliefs, and what we've been programmed to believe. If you really think in the world, and I truly believe our state of consciousness is getting raised. It's the age of information and error, and we have access to a lot of beautiful things in our lives to help us. And as more people become aware of this, we can change ourselves and then create an impact on others around us and raise this world and shift these programs that we've been raised to believe. You talk about television. The word for television is television programming. It's programming. They're choosing to show you what they want you to see, right? And we're programmed to see what we want to see, our conscious focus. And still, you talk about sympathizing in a closed system. You're taking on, if your environment's all negative, that's what you're going to start to believe, and it goes contrary to your true self beliefs. And you've all met someone and judged them, or you're sympathizing with someone, complaining about someone at work, a coworker, and then that's what you consciously choose to focus on. Then all of a sudden, that's all you see in that person, and you could have liked them 3 days ago and been best friends with them, but based upon your environment and what's going on, and you're taking on their belief systems, and instead of stopping and thinking for yourself, wow, I really like them, and then coming up with a solution to address the issue and help that person through it, or standing up for what you believe and giving a lot of the times in the world, we go along with sympathizing instead of making a different choice.
Right. Talking about imagining, I read this study that was done in a college or university. I can't remember the college that it was done in. But they took a group of individuals and they had them participate in a piano lesson, right? So for a certain amount of time, they split the group in half, and everybody would participate in a piano lesson every week. And then the half of the group would go home and they would practice the piano for an allotted amount of time every day, right? And the other half would go home and imagine practicing the piano, okay? So this group's physically sitting at a piano, practicing the piano. This group is imagining, laying down, sitting up, closing their eyes, having a vivid imagined experience, practicing what they learned on the piano. They did this for quite some time, and at the end of the study, the margins of capability between the two groups were very similar. These people having physically done the practicing and these people having vividly imagined the practicing were as capable at the piano by the end of the experiment. There's been a bunch of other studies done in regards to the power of imagination. And the real fact is that the only thing getting in the way of you believing that your imagination is capable of doing these things, which you consciously give it permission to do, is your own limiting beliefs, as Whitney has suggested. And your own limiting beliefs are only there because since you were born and developed these core beliefs, there's been a pattern of limiting beliefs that has been instilled into you through your environment. Your subconscious is gathering all of this data every second, 400 billion bits, and you have been literally programmed to think, feel, act in specific ways. And the only thing getting in the way of you really consciously creating your future in any way that you should or would have it is your own limiting beliefs. And these techniques are so amazing because they're geared to get you to face these limiting beliefs, to get you to see them clearly, right? Sometimes, or a lot of the times, especially for me, before encountering this material, I didn't realize that I was so limited in my belief systems. I thought that I had a pretty good stand-up belief system as far as my childhood was concerned, and these techniques have a way of altering your perception of first yourself and second the world around you. And
it's if you really look at imagination, you think of a kid.
Right.
They're out playing, they're going to be a cop or a fireman, and they're running around like they're a fireman and they can fly.
It's really happening.
And it's real to them, and still, you think of imagination, isn't that our goals?
Right.
That becomes our goals,
dreams,
our dreams, our
desires.
lost goals, hopes, and dreams. And still we have these goals of being successful. I am this. If you're not that, that's still your imagination. And if you have a thought to do it, if you can even think of that thing, you have everything inside of you to see it through and be successful in it. It's our own self that gets in the way. And that's a lot of what happens when we create these goals and things in our life, and it becomes a fear of failure or our own self-doubt and stuff. Because anybody can do anything they put their mind to and imagine they can do, or they wouldn't even be able to think of it. So that's imagination, putting these things out here. It's our own doubt and our own programs that get in the way of accomplishing those things.
Right. Say you're driving down the road and you see this beautiful home and you're like, man, I really wish I had that house, or I want to set a goal to have that house and work towards it. And the only thing keeping you from obtaining that house is the thought that comes in right after that as you're driving down the road and you're saying, that's way too big. I could never afford that. That's a limiting belief. It is, right? The only thing getting in the way of you creating that house for yourself is the thoughts, which are more powerful than Wi-Fi. They're stronger than any radio wave. They're stronger than any telephone signal. You figure 5G coming out in the phone system today, and how far away do you have to be from something in order for your Wi-Fi to work, right? Your thoughts are more powerful than that. And this has been proven, right? So you think about those limiting thoughts, those defeating thoughts. The thought about having the house is positive, right? What's wrong with you having a house? It's that nice.
Well, and even saying, when you first talked about the house, what was the word you used?
Want.
And what does want indicate?
A lack. Want, need, gotta have, or have to have. Process in your subconscious as a lack.